Hi, hello, how are you? Good afternoon. It's Saturday and I just got back home from running some errands. It is pouring here. We had like 2 days this week that wasn't super rainy, but it's back again. And my plans for today are basically just to sit on the couch all day and do nothing. I'm about to finish up the edit for last week's video and thought that I would update you guys because I just bought something at Barnes & Noble. But first of all, I am in the middle of the Night Circus. I'm about 300 pages in. I'm really enjoying it. It's very good, but it's slow. I don't know what it is about this sort of writing style and this like late 1800s, early 19th century dreary London that just makes me read in a much slower tone, but I also think that the story is very intricate and full and I like have to read a little bit slower in order to really take everything in. So that's what I'm reading right now. I'm hoping to finish it this weekend, and then I will be moving on with my TBR, although what I just picked up today really makes me want to abandon my TBR and read this. So I got Chain of Iron by Cassandra Clare. It is book 2 in the Last Hours series. I think this might be like her last series in the Shadowhunters world. I'm not sure. She just announced her intro to adult books, and the third book in this series just came out like 2 days ago, but I have been waiting for this paperback version to come out for a year now. It was supposed to be out in stores last year, in like August, so only like 6 months, but I haven't been able to find it anywhere, and when I've gone to like purchase it online, it's been like $22 to $27. So I was hoping that when Chain of Thorns, which is book 3, comes out, that they would restock on paperbacks for this, and they did. So I went and picked this up today, and I think that these paperback versions are superior to the hardbacks because they all have these like skylines. So when you line all the books up from each series, they have a skyline of where that like book series is set in. So I think that this is London. And then there's like, I think LA is where the Dark Artifices series is set. They're all set in different places and I just can't remember where they all are right now. But each series has a different little timeline on it. So I was waiting and waiting for this to come out, which means when I finish this, I'm gonna have to wait a long time before I can read Chain of Thorns, although I'm considering getting it on like a ebook, so I can read it and then just purchase the paperback whenever I get it. But adding this to my collection does mean that I've like outgrown the space on the shelf where I put it, so I'm going to need to move it around. But that is my plan for the day. I'm, like I said, very, very much considering at least finishing the Night Circus and adding Chain of Thorns or Chain of Iron to my TBR for this month, because I have waited 6 months at the very least because it was supposed to come out last August, and then I had read Chain of Gold well before that, so I've been waiting for a long time, but I'm trying to stick to my TBR. This might just be the first book on my TBR. Hellbent is also out by Leigh Bardugo. I saw that, but they have Barnes & Noble editions that are like a red color, and I prefer the silver, so I'm gonna wait until they bring out the silver ones, or maybe just purchase it online. There are so many good books coming out right now. So many authors are announcing books. My wallet is going to be hurting, or I'm just going to have to sacrifice not purchasing some of them due to wedding planning stuff. We're supposed to be going like cookie tasting. We're doing an ice cream sandwich bar for like our dessert section. So we're going to go taste cookies in a couple weeks and discuss like cake for my wedding, which is very exciting. So I am going to go, and I will update you guys probably when I finish Night Circus. Hello, happy Wednesday. I just finished my afternoon meeting. It was only 47 minutes today, which is great. Sometimes it's like 2 to 3 hours, but today it was short, which was nice, so I don't feel drained. But I was coming on to update you guys to let you know that I finished the Night Circus. I loved it, and I'm This is one of those books where I was like, man, why did I wait so long to read it? I really just had always felt like it wasn't going to be something that I enjoyed, but I honestly don't even know if I ever read the synopsis. And then I was watching one of Books with Chloe's books. I think she's like Chloe Bunny now, but I was watching one of her videos and she buddy read this with Caitlin and Jamie. I can't really remember. And they loved it so much, and so I immediately put it on my TBR, and I purchased it a couple weeks ago, and it was so good. I really loved it. I love how absolutely magical this is. It's very similar to like the Carval series, in like a reverse. Like in Carval, you are competing in a sort of like circus, but in this you are competing with the circus, like you are one of the performers, or at least one of the girls is. But it gave me very similar vibes from that. It is a little more dense and mature, I feel like, especially the time period. I love these books that are set in this time period of, like I've said before, this sort of like seedy underbelly of London in the late 1800s, and the writing style that comes along with it that just matches almost like the dreary, rainy vibes of London, but sometimes it does make me feel like 20 pages has taken me an hour to get through. Thankfully, the last like 80 pages that I had to read did not drag on. Very interesting. I love the main characters, Marco and Celia, and the way they've just been kind of like orbiting around each other for years, and they finally come together in this like cataclysmic blow up. It was just so great. So I finished this, 5 stars obviously, and funnily enough, I am continuing in the like Carval world with The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber. I don't have the dust jacket on it. I started this last month, got about 30 pages in and didn't pick it up, but it is next on my TBR. I love the Carval series world, and even these like branching series. The fates, the magic, all of it, the like schemes and trickery is so good. So I'm excited to see what is next. I feel like I look a little bit crazy. I showered during my lunchtime, and so my hair is just getting poofy as it dries, but I feel like I'm doing good with my reading. Mentally, I'm like feeling really good this week. I had a little bit of anxiety yesterday, and then my fiance and I watched the first episode of The Last of Us, and I feel like that made me even more anxious because it's like a zombie apocalypse movie, and watching like the first 20-30 minutes of them like the zombies starting to manifest and them running away and one of the characters dying, and I was like, this is not the relaxing TV show I wanted, but it was really good. So I'm feeling good, which is good. So I'm gonna go, and I will update you when I've made some progress on The Ballad of Never After. Good morning, happy Monday. I'm tired, I have a headache, and it's cold. If you can hear like a whirring in the back, it's the little heater that I have by my feet. I don't even really think that it's that cold compared to a lot of other places, obviously, but it's 48 and it's super windy, and that's cold in California. So my day has been off to a rough start, but I'm not going to let the rest of it be ruined. I don't know if you can tell, I moved my desk around. My big bookshelves are over here now. My desk is over here. It used to be the other way. After like 8 months to a year of having a certain room, having any room really set up a certain way, I get kind of like claustrophobic almost, and I want to rearrange everything, which my fiance hates so much. But this is a room that solely I use, so I was like, I'm gonna change everything around, and it took like 3 hours. My bookshelves are so heavy now that these like 2 big ones that I have are solid wood, and I have so many more books than I used to have, so it just took so much longer. But everything is almost back to the way it was. I have a whole basket full of like my trinkets and stuff that I need to go through and get rid of some of them that I've just kept because I've been like, I got it in a subscription box, I paid for it, I feel like I should keep it, but it makes my shelves look so cluttered, and right now with nothing on them they just look so nice. So I'm gonna have to get rid of quite a few of those, especially if they're from books that I don't even own or haven't read or anything like that. But reading update, last night I finished, not last night, the night before, I finished The Ballad of Never After, and I loved it. It was so good. I think Stephanie Garber is such a good writer, and the like lore about the fates and the valors I love. I would love to have a book, honestly, on every single fate and valor, just to get their backstory, how they became fates, because I think you have to give up your immortality and like something happens, or your mortality, to become immortal. I know that Jax used to be human, and because he's been alive, because they've all been alive for so long, they've lived so many lives, and you just get so many stories out of them. So I've really enjoyed learning about him and who he was in all of his past lives, and him and Evangeline in this are so good. The chemistry between them is palpable, and you can just tell that they have feelings for each other. Obviously you could tell Evangeline does because it's from her perspective, so you hear her say that she does, but it's clear that Jax does too, and he's just afraid of getting hurt. And I really didn't think that the book was going to end where it did. I didn't know that there was going to be a third book, so I was expecting for this to be where they get together and have their happy ending, but it's not. The third book comes out in September of this year. There's no cover for it yet, but it's called A Curse for True Love. I cannot wait to read that and see where their story goes. I have really enjoyed it, so finished that. 5 stars. That's my 4th book this month, and Harrow the 9th is going to be my next book. And I loved Gideon the 9th. I loved the relationship between Gideon and Harrowhark, and Gideon's sassiness, and the like necromancy world is really interesting. So this is going to be what I read tonight, and I will update you guys with my thoughts on the first few chapters. Good morning, happy Tuesday. It's the 31st. I haven't updated in a few days because I haven't read very much. I am now 109 pages into Harrow the 9th, and I am not enjoying it. It's just, I feel like not for me right now. The like vibes of the night circus, it was so lovely and whimsical, and the Ballad of Never After. I just feel like everything else that I read this month was so different from Harrow the 9th, that like the transition to it just hasn't gone well. And I've also been having like some pretty bad anxiety, not really about anything specific, but it's like if I'm feeling anxious, then I kind of just want to be on my phone. And I have such a hard time putting it aside and reading. So I have read 109 pages over the last like 5 or 6 days. And when I started, I was like, oh, I'm still ahead by like a day. Like, I'm definitely going to finish this early. Maybe I'll read a 6th book. No. So I might continue on reading tonight, seeing how far I get. And if I finally start getting into the story, then I will continue it in February as my first book of the month. If not, I might end up setting it aside and picking something else up in February and just starting fresh. So I am going to, first of all, I am enjoying it, but I forgot. I think that it's not that I'm not enjoying it. I am. It's the writing style, and like it's so overly complicated. All of the like necromancy talk. And the way that Harrowhark speaks is so, like, detailed. There's a lot of, like, anatomy talk about, like, the bones and the veins and the arteries and stuff that she's using and manipulating. And that can kind of just make my eyes glaze over, and I think is a little bit of what is like preventing me from want to continue reading, and it makes 30 pages seem so long. So I'm going to, like I said, try to read a little bit more, and if not, I will move on to something else. But the main reason I wanted to come on was to end this since it's the end of the month. That way I can start the beginning of the month with a fresh video. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, comment down below, let me know how your first month of the year has gone. Mine has been mostly good. Not really any bad, just a little bit of meh at the end. And then the beginning was a little bit rough. It's been a mixed bag of a month, but hopefully next month is better for me and for you if you need it. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.